Uh, Lena and Ole again. Ole, he's always teasing Lena about her age, and she says, I'm approaching 40. And he says, yeah, from which direction?
That's bad.
From which direction?
And he teases her about her weight. He says, I won't say Lena is heavy, but when she wears red earrings, she looks like the back end of a bus.
Oh my God.
Oh. Hey.
Red rum.
No, Lena, she likes to talk about when they were courting. She says, when Ole and I were young and dating, we almost froze to death at the drive-in movie. We were watching Closed for the season.
That's a good one. That's great.
Ole, he went to see the doctor, but the doctor, he could find nothing wrong with him. And he says it must be from the effects of drinking. And, well then, said Ole, I'll come back when you're sober.
That's great.
I don't know if I guess I got a few more. Little Ole, he called his mama from a friend's house, and he told her that he had broken a lamp over there. But he says, we don't have to buy him a new one. They said it was irreplaceable. Ole and Sven, they went goose hunting. And after being out all day, it started to get dark, and they couldn't find their car. And Ole said, I think we're lost. And how do you know? Asked Sven. Well, said Ole, I've been lost before, and this is what it looks like. And Lena, she's talking about the weather, and she says, Ole thinks with all this cold air coming in from Canada in the winter, they should just weather strip the border.
That's a great idea.
Another fence. Go figure.
Some duct tape, buddy.
Sven says, when are you two going on your vacation? Or where are you going? And Ole says, Yellowstone National Park. Sven says, don't forget Old Faithful. And Ole said, she's coming with me.
Don't worry, she's coming with me.
Lena, she talks about Ole's job skills. She says, nobody can call Ole a quitter. He always gets fired. And they gave him 2 orders on his last job. They say, get out and stay out.
Poor Ole.
Oh, poor Ole.
Police officer, he was driving along, and he saw, talk about distracted driving, he saw Lena driving and knitting. So he pulled alongside of her, and he called out, pull over. She says, no. She called back at him, sweater. Ole took his car to the mechanic, and who got it fixed up pretty good, and the mechanic says it's running fine now. And Ole says, well, what was the problem? And mechanic says, just crap in the carburetor. And Ole says, how often do I have to do that?
That's a Catboy one, yeah.
Police officer, he pulled Lena over after seeing her car weaving from side to side, and she says, well, I was just swerving to avoid the trees. And Mrs. Olson, said the officer, that's your air freshener. And then Ole, he kind of makes fun of Lena's sister Ingeborg, and Lena says, my sister is very kind to animals. And Ole says, yeah, well, she should give her face back to the gorilla then. And Lena says, when we were younger, Ingeborg's best feature was her chin. And Ole says, now it's a double feature.
Double feature.
God.
Well, Lars, that's Ole's brother, and they kind of make fun of him too. He won a big lottery jackpot, and he had to attend a press conference to announce his good fortune. And the reporter says, will this change your life? And Lars says, no, I'll do the same things I've always done. And the reporter says, well, what about all those letters begging for money? And Lars says, well, I'll send them out just like usual. Well, back to Ingeborg, and Ole says Ingeborg is so ugly. She went into a haunted house and she came out with an application.
I did that. Oh my God.
And Ole went into the kitchen one day and Lena was crying, and she says, Ole, that cake I baked for you, the dog ate it. And Ole says, that's okay, Lena, I'll get you another dog. And then Ole and Lena, they went to church, and Ole finally, he says, you know, this sermon has gone on so long, my butt's fallen asleep. And Lena says, yeah, I know, Ole, I heard it snore 3 times.